Welcome viewers. There is no one Donald Trump despises more than black women, even for a small insignificant one, and whose presidency has been focused almost entirely on offensive tweeting caught between golf and crime. Trump has been seen as his best condescension and contempt for black women, invoking racist and sexist language to belittle their talent and abilities. He kept claiming California Representative Maxine Waters had a low IQ and started a verbal war with Florida Representative Frederica Wilson, calling her an insane liar. His outrage at black women journalists who questioned him getting her work done and resentment at her presence in meeting rooms was palpable when he asked American Urban Radio Network's reporter April Ryan to sit down and was dubbed her loser, berating CNN's Abby Phillips and telling her she asks a lot of boring questions. And implicitly, PBS journalist Yamich Alcindor threatened patronizing. She shuts up and calls her something else. Trump deliberately conjured up images of the welfare queen when he called Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is incompetent and looking for handouts and is labeled as the top angry black lady when she calls Vice President Kamala Harris a monster and a mad woman and everything you suspect when it comes to putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. His refusal of that suggestion and his advice that she appear on cash-out $2 bills instead, while implying that a previously enslaved girl turns into a Union nurse spy and is the first lady to plan and command a naval operation that more when 700 enslaved people freed T. Consider wild with a tremendous success by Genesis and slaver Andrew Jackson. All that misogyny was brought back to life on Wednesday when the New York Attorney General dropped James, a black woman. Imagine that her workplace has filed a $250 million lawsuit alleging that Trump and his three middle-aged adult youth fraudulently inflated his fortune by billions of dollars for the purpose of unfair enrichment and to cheat the system, making us all dishonest. For those who don't feel like checking the entire 220-page complaint, James presented a tweet thread with just a few examples of Trump's many alleged economic lies. Coupled with falsely tripling the rectangular photos of his Manhattan apartment to generate a $327 million extraordinary sales fee, valuing Mar-a-Lago at $739 million when it was closer to $75 million. And reported that he had money on hand that didn't exist. This lawsuit by James, which says it interviewed 65 people and reviewed tens of millions of documents, is likely to ignite Trump in a way few affairs have ever done. Linking a black attorney to this is a higher humiliation for the former president. There's also the fact that among Trump's many insecurities, being revealed as less rich than he claims was probably the worst there was back in 2011, just before Trump's Comedy Central roast, as the one topic he ruled was taboo for ridicule was any suggestion that he was poorer than he claimed and returned. In 2005, Trump sued Trump Nation author Tim O'Brien for estimating Trump's net worth at between $150 million and $250 million, a far cry from the $5 billion to $6 billion Trump claimed. Since then, Trump has positioned his value differently, ranging from $6 billion to $10 billion. The court dismissed Trump's lawsuit. The filing proves us, however, with Trump's admission that he bases his fortune not on possessions and liabilities, but on his own feelings about where the world is going, and that can change rapidly from day to day. Trump's response to the James lawsuit was, as you might expect, a taller Ms. Jenwer in an honest social post. Trump referred to James as peekaboo, a phrase reminiscent of the old-school insults that his fan base handed back as working on it. Trump also called James a fraud, a total crime-fighting disaster, and blamed her for turning New York City into the crime-ravaged cesspool that Trump envisions. She is a field agent whose lack of intelligence in the fight against crime is causing people and authorities to flee New York, Trump wrote. The city is one of the crime and murder disasters in the world. Under her watch, he doubled during a Thursday night on Sean Hannity's show. James' pronunciation should focus on murder and crime in New York, where they go into business.